is Elle Woods, and for my admissions essay, I'm going to tell all of you at Harvard why I'm going to make an amazing lawyer.
Last Tuesday, we talked about My Cousin Vinny as the ultimate legal fish out of water comedy. This week, we're talking about a film with many similar elements. From a decade later, Legally Blonde, starring Reese Witherspoon as Elle Woods, a sorority girl who is fine majoring in fashion and hanging out with her Delta Nu sisters, until her douchebag Nepo baby boyfriend dumps her, saying she's not a serious person and he can't marry her if he's going to become the next senator of Florida. I'm going to say he'd be the Republican senator from Florida.
Well, yeah, but I mean, without this man's sperm, the child in question wouldn't exist.
Now you're thinking like a lawyer. Yes, Ms. Woods.
Although Mr. Huntington makes an excellent point, I have to wonder if the defendant kept a thorough record of every sperm emission made throughout his life.
He's heading to law school, and so Elle decides to prove she's serious and can also get into law school, and follows him to Harvard Law to become the next DEI lawyer. It's blonde affirmative action.
A fashion major?
Well, sir, we've never had one before, and aren't we always looking for diversity?
Her list of extracurricular activities is impressive.
Also starring Luke Wilson, Selma Blair as a serious girl Elle's ex-boyfriend finds, Victor Garber as the slimiest law professor at a place that produced Ted Cruz, and Jennifer Coolidge 2 years out from playing Stifler's mom as Elle's new friend Paulette. It's SoCal sorority culture meets old money East Coast Harvard, in the second most famous East Coast versus West Coast rivalry of the decade. Elle realizes many of her fashion skills can be used for her legal career.
I feel comfortable using legal jargon in everyday life. I object.
When she's brought on as an intern to help work a murder case that involves a famous fitness instructor that she knows from LA. The screenplay was written by Kiwi Smith and Karen McCullough, based on the self-published novel Legally Blonde by Amanda Brown. Based on the time Brown spent at Stanford Law. Colleges. MGM bought the rights to the novel and the screenplay was written, but originally it was written to be much more edgy and had Elle Woods getting into a relationship with her college professor. The screenplay got the attention of Robert Luketic, an Australian short film director who had just arrived in Hollywood. After his acclaimed short film, Tiziana Bubarini, got attention at Sundance. Hilariously, MGM had bought Legally Blonde thinking it would be their American Pie. They didn't expect it to be a more feminist story about self-acceptance. The comedy, even about gay men and the rivalry between women, works a lot of the time, I think, because the screenplay is clearly written by women, about women, and Luketic is an openly gay man.
He's gay. Enrique is gay.
What?
Warner, what kind of shoes are these?
The black ones.
See?
What are you talking about?
He's gay. He isn't Brooke's lover. He's making it up.
Wait, back up. How do you know that he's gay?
Gay men know designers. Straight men don't.
It's also produced by Mark Platt, who recently was at the Oscars for another story involving a precocious blonde student, Wicked. Elle walks so Glinda can float in that gay-ass bubble.
And altogether quite impossible to describe.
Blonde.
Reese Witherspoon started acting as a teenager in Cruel Intentions and started as Tracy Flick in Election 2 years before Legally Blonde in 1999. Along with the new actor Chris Klein, who would also star in American Pie that year after being discovered by Alexander Payne for Election. But Legally Blonde is the role Reese Witherspoon is most known for. She had to lobby for it, although Luketic wanted her from the start. They also considered actresses as diverse as Charlize Theron, Katherine Heigl, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Jennifer Love Hewitt. Even Britney Spears was considered. MGM really didn't want to cast Reese Witherspoon because she was so good in Election. The studio head found her repellent. Witherspoon has 40 different hairstyles in Legally Blonde, calling it the hair that ate Hollywood, for $18 million. Legally Blonde brought in $142 million at the box office and became a franchise with multiple sequels and a musical. It's not as beloved by lawyers as her other movies because they point out a law student cannot practice law in Massachusetts courts, but has inspired many women to go to law school.
Chetney, why is it that Tracy Marcinko's curls were ruined when she got hosed down?
Because they got wet?
Exactly. Because isn't it the first cardinal rule of perm maintenance that you're forbidden to wet your hair for at least 24 hours after getting a perm, at the risk of deactivating the ammonium thioglycolate?
Before I introduce the panel, please like this video and subscribe to the Movie Night Extravaganza YouTube channel. Then hit that bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. Super chats are now open, If you have any pressing questions, send us a super chat, which helps me maintain the expenses for the show, which I am obligated by the rules of the Geneva Convention to stop everything and ask the panel. Another way to help us out is to become a patron and give us money every month. In exchange, you get access to all of our after parties, bonus content, and we'll tell you even more movies we watched recently. Patreon.com/movie night extra. We have a Movie Night Extravaganza Discord. There's an invite link in the episode description, and we have a Letterboxd HQ account. So those are 2 more places to follow along with us. Okay, let me introduce the illustrious panel. Conan Neutron is the host of Protonic Reversal, co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza, and the frontman for the band Conan Neutron and the Secret Friends. You can check out his music and hopefully buy some at neutronfriends.bandcamp.com. Conan's latest album, The Way of the Neutron, is available on Bandcamp March 20th. Pre-order it today. Kristina Oakes is a co-host of Movie Night Extravaganza and a Twitch streamer. You can find her streaming at twitch.tv/cosmopolitics. All of her social media accounts are also at Cosmopolitics. She's on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky, and even occasionally on Letterboxd. I, of course, am your host, Forrest Miller. I don't even see hair color. He was blonde?
Exactly. Yes.
Indeed. You know what's interesting about this movie is we were watching it on stream earlier, and someone was like, "This film feels like it belongs on MTV," and I'm like, "That's the perfect way to describe this film. This film seems like a film that would air on MTV over and over and over again."
Well, we
feel like it did produced by it, or even feel produced by it.
Yeah. No, I feel like it absolutely did. It might be.
They filmed the stage production and aired it then. That was cool.
There we go. Call the time. Wasn't even 1 minute.
Well, that's what they did.
No, I mean, it was what was interesting. I like the tidbit about Tracy Flick, found Tracy Flick repellent. Which, by the way, it just means she was good in the role. But that was it was interesting. Reese had such an interesting couple years around this time, and it was. That was Election was another one that had a lot of legs under it, right? And the people were wow, that movie is great. And then she kind of keeps it going too, because I mean, about 4 years after this is Walk the Line.
Yep.
Yeah.
Won the Oscar for that.
Yeah.
And before that, she was Pleasantville, and I mean, she had a really good run here. But this is
Cruel Intentions, right?
Cruel Intentions, sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, before Election, but. Yeah,
and when she was also in American Psycho.
She was in American Psycho. That's right. But I think it's interesting that for a long time, when people thought of Reese Witherspoon, they thought of this role. Yeah, because that's how iconic it was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think this is still her most famous role, and she had a few years. I guess I would call it in the wilderness, meaning Hollywood does not cast women of a certain age until they can throw them on screen as moms or whatever. She had a few years where she wasn't cast in anything. At all, and she was mostly just doing, I think, charity work and stuff. But
she did that movie Wild. That was actually I quite liked it. It was a little divisive, but where she is hiking on the Pacific Crest Trail for 1,000 miles. But it was really art house movie.
Yeah, and she's doing streaming shows and stuff like that now.
Yeah, was it what's the HBO one? Big Little Lies, right? That's I mean, it's like she isn't doing anything, but she isn't marquee level. Actress.
It's Reese Witherspoon's in this. I'll watch it. I know her.
Yeah, it was wild because Freeway is 4 years earlier than this. It
was pretty much between 2011, and then she kind of did Wild in 2014, and then she kind of fell off everything, and then Big Little Lies started in 2017, and then since then it's been a lot of Well, she produced Gone Girl, I guess.
She was staying involved, but she wasn't as much of an on-screen presence. Well, it's interesting because I think she's a little bit older. I think she's a year older than me, but we're almost the same age. So it's been interesting to see again, as an early adopter of Election, I'm just wow, that character is insufferable. She did such a great job.
The fact that the guy at MGM literally said she was repellent. That's such a very specific word, I feel to describe that, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, let's not get it twisted though. She did get nominated for Wild. She was Oscar nominated in 2015, so she wasn't it hasn't been a non-existent figure, but
but when it comes to early 2000 pop culture, she's there. I mean, I remember having my own Elle Woods Barbie doll.
Yeah,
And my own little bruiser with a little purse. Like they marketed Legally Blonde heavily.
Oh my god, it was like I'm sure it was like directly marketed to you practically. I mean,
It was
you were
like- it
the
was
target
like-
market.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was like 8 or 9, 10. Something
Yeah.
like
Well,
that.
it was the heyday of like the PG-13 comedy, right? Like it's
Yeah.
it was kind of this time period. I mean, it's hilarious to think of this as like, MGM was like, we need our own American Pie. I feel like that dates this so much, like coming out,
Yeah.
the same
So, yeah,
around the
music,
same time, like
everything.
yeah.
Sorry, not to get stuck on Wild, but I forgot she did get an actress in a leading role nomination for Wild. And one of the other nominees was Rosamund Pike in Gone Girl, which I forgot about that weird, like, kind of like, what she helped bring into the world. And but it was Julianne Moore's year. It was still Alice is when she won.
She started her it's funny that she helped produce Gone Girl because she started her production company to keep doing Legally Blonde films, right? Like she wanted her own
She wanted like a franchise, basically. Yeah, which there is.
Yeah, there's Legally Blondes, which is about Elwood's British cousins or something like that. Like I'm like, what? Freeform.
I haven't seen any of them. Have you guys seen any of them?
I saw the sequel, the red, white, and blue one.
Yeah.
I had that Barbie doll too.
Her so the other alternative casting, right? Charlize Theron, Gwyneth Paltrow, Elisa Silverstone, which it would have been too much like
Clueless.
Clueless. Yeah, but they always like casting the same kind of people. Katherine Heigl, who would go on to be in Robert Luketic's other, like pretty much all his other movies, because he just kept doing these like PG-13 mid-level kind of movies.
Yeah.
Charlize is interesting because she would do Monster like a year and a half later. Like she was like going like the opposite direction.
Love her.
Yeah, no, that's was that all of them, Forrest? Or was it
No, Christina Applegate, which I could have seen that. But I could have seen her also in the Selma Blair role too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Like old.
Yeah.
The only things I've seen Selma Blair in is this and the Hellboys.
She's in Mallrats when she was like really young.
Oh, really? Okay, then I remember seeing her.
Cruel Intentions.
Oh, I forgot she was in that. Okay. Yeah.
Of course, everyone remembers her being in that for reasons.
For no particular reason whatsoever.
Mila Jovovich. I can never say that.
Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, Mila Jovovich, which would have been very weird. I can't see that being like panning out.
Her daughters
for
are just
Elle?
like her too. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
she would be more Vivian.
She's a better actress than people give her credit for, but that's a weird casting.
Yeah. Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Sure.
And then they talked about Britney Spears as like a.
This is a year before Crossroads, I think, or when Crossroads came out, because she was doing that movie which actually, even though it's a movie with Britney Spears in it, she can act.
And
I prefer the Crossroads where Ralph Macchio has a guitar throwing off with the devil. Personally,
that's
maybe that's just me.
Other alternative casting, the Jennifer Coolidge role, which I cannot see played by anybody else, could have been Courtney Love.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
No,
it is so absolutely a Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer's role, man. What are you talking about?
Lindsay brought up the point of like, does Jennifer Coolidge is that her normal voice, or did she just get stuck doing it after like Best in
She
Show
just got stuck
all this
doing
great
it. Like her
comedy?
voice
Yeah,
is
like,
a little bit. It's that she exaggerates.
She
it.
over exaggerates.
Yeah, because I was watching interviews of her talking about this movie, and I was like, oh yeah, she talks normal. I completely forgot that.
Because it's such an affectation, and I feel like it's to great effect. It's like she's. Like, what the most iconic character in White Lotus. You know what it's
These days,
with
they're trying to kill me.
Amazing. Just like,
are you watching
top
this
tier.
season? This is Conan, because it's.
I am. I am watching this season.
We gotta talk about it. It's so funny. But yeah, Jennifer Coolidge is like
Sam
iconic...
Rockwell. No, Sam.
yeah, exactly. But
and Arnold Schwarzenegger's son as like the sleaze bucket.
Patrick.
Dude, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But
one other
is so iconic.
One other alternative casting. So the Selma Blair role, Chloe Sevigny could have been.
I could see it.
Cold,
that.
Cold.
She
would have been the brunette though. Yeah.
Yeah, she could. I could see her pulling that off. I mean, she's if any of you say anything bad about this movie, I'll put a generational curse about your family.
family's already cursed.
A generational curse upon your family.
But I think
it's
awesome.
Her voice is almost like Elizabeth Warren-esque in a weird way. Like I feel like
I can do that. Yeah, I just don't know that much about Selma Blair. Those few movies. I know she's been in a bunch of them, but I didn't.
She was also in that first seat, or she was in that anger management show, I think, with Charlie Sheen on FX or whatever.
I didn't watch
yeah,
that.
she didn't. They did not get along at all. But now she's known for having.
Oh, she's in Storytime.
MS.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's a.
Yeah, now she's
got
one.
MS.
Yeah.
Yikes! That is a bummer.
Yeah. But it's funny. I was watching. I remember just rewatching it just now. I totally forgot. Like we kind of suspect that Warren is a douchebag, like from the get go. Like the first time you look at him, you're like, "Yep, he's a douche canoe."
I mean, look, like you call it jock bias, but I was like, I already disliked that guy from the second he came on screen. I was like, this guy sucks.
Yeah. And she's got her hopes and dreams in him, but they're on completely different paths.
Is it Matthew Davis? So I don't know. I don't think I've seen anything.
He was known for being in the Vampire Diaries later on.
No,
that's
okay, no
the only other role he's known for. To a generation of vampire lovers. Where he played a good guy, which I'm like, Warren, is that you? I can't
Apparently,
see it.
there's a sequel to Donnie Darko that he's in called S. Darko that has a average rating of 1.6 out of 5 on Letterboxd. So there you go. That's what that guy's up to.
Yeah, I bet.
Why would you make it?
But it's just weird how she's getting ready to. Everyone thinks that Warren's going to propose to her, and it's so funny how how the girls are doing all this. And what's interesting too is like in the stage show, the Delta News play a bigger role. They're like a Greek choir, but like we don't see as much as them is in this, unless it's Alana Yerbeck, who I fucking love as Margot.
Who's also in Bombshell. She's also in.
She's freaking. That was Judge Janine. She's great in that. But
wow,
I feel like
Selma Blair right now she's her role that she's working on right now apparently is Israeli propaganda, where the 3 hostages that got killed after October 7th by the IDF, the Hannibal directive or whatever. She's in a movie where I think they're going to whitewash the IDF accidentally killing them.
Yeah, she was also she also played Kris Jenner in the Kris Kardashian during the OJ Ryan Murphy. Yeah, that was like the last thing like she was in. Yeah,
it's like open mic nights for in
I forgot she did that. Yeah.
She Alana Ubach was also in Clock Watchers, a secret late 90s favorite of mine. By Jill Sprecher with Toni Collette, Parker Posey, and Lisa Kudrow. It's really, really.
She was also Marsha's lesbian best friend in the Brady Bunch movie. I love that movie. And she's now on the TED show. She plays the mom. She plays such a sweetheart. Like she just disappears in her roles. I just love her. Shout out to her.
Yeah, she's really good.
She's also in Euphoria. She plays the mom of the bad girl in Euphoria, so that's funny.
Linda Cardellini kind of got done dirty in this.
Because she did it. She did it. When I was younger watching this, I was like, wait a minute. I know. I'm like, she's guilty. And my mom's like, how you know? I'm like, Mom, you've done perms, right? You can't wash your hair after getting a perm. She's like, no. I'm like, she's guilty.
But that was like 2 years after Freaks and Geeks, so she was still kind of like not really.
Yeah, this is before Scooby-Doo, before Marvel.
Did you recognize David? The sidekick, the eventual sidekick, kind of like monobrow looking dude.
Yeah.
AKA Anthony Perkins' son.
Yeah.
Osgood Perkins.
Director
AKA
of
director of Osgood Perkins. Yeah. I forgot he was in this.
Yeah. He kind of has that Norman Bates look to him, so.
Right.
That's what they were going for.
He looks like fucking JD Vance in this movie for some reason because he has like the eyeshadow eyes.
Yeah.
And of course, Ali Larder of Heroes fame as Brooke, and who's been in other things, but is most known for me anyway from being that television show Heroes, which was basically X-Men without infringing on copyright IP.
I know her as one of the villains in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, that's right, she is in that. Yeah. I always kind of forget about that one. I saw that one in the theaters. That's Alanis Morissette is in that too, right? That's forgettable.
Yep.
Anyway,
Holland Taylor's in this too.
That's Dogma. You're right. You're right. My bad. It's been a while.
It's the one where it's with Shannon Elizabeth.
That's right.
And they're in the stupid little and they're in the van or whatever, and they're driving around and they try to frame Jay and Silent Bob as the clique commanders.
and they spend the money to go to the people's house to kick their ass, but they say mean stuff on the internet. I remember this now, which is great.
Yeah, that's one of those great early internet bits.
Yeah.
Anyway,
also,
that has nothing to do with Legally Blonde, so we'll get back on topic. But
Holland Taylor's in this as well because she plays, the one very, 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 very tough professor that's like kicks out loud that you didn't know. But then again, when you go to college,
she has the best eyebrow acting of any.
She does. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's true.
Eyebrow.
Yeah,
she was in To Die For as well, which is maybe my favorite Nicole Kidman movie.
Also, what's interesting about this movie is that like sorority girls are smart. Like they have to have a certain like GPA, they have to have certain extra credentials and all that. It's just Elle's not book smart at first. Like that's the thing. Like she had to pass all these things, the LSATs and whatnot. She actually got above 175.
It's not. I don't even think that she's not book smart as much as like her interest is. She's a fashion major.
Superficial.
So, like, going from being like a fashion major into being a into a law student is a big jump. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's like the whole SoCal thing, right? Like it's SoCal versus like the more, and their version of like what they think people at Harvard are like is kind of weird because they're like, oh, people at Harvard just like they must just wear like normal like brown and blue clothes and like just kind of all
well,
it's
it's a fish out of water story that's going to be exaggerated for comedic effect.
I think Josh is one who said that is Legally Blonde like a millennials female version of My Cousin Vinny. And I'm like, yeah.
I mean, that ending is pretty much the same, right? It's like the same. People were pointing that out. People were pointing that out this weekend on Twitter. I saw like they're like putting them side by side, and it's like the same kind of surprise ending.
Yeah.
Chapter Black saying, I've seen Clock Watchers recently. I wanted to watch initially for Toni Collette, who's great, but walked away head over heels for Parker Posey's slacker solidarity shtick. Parker Posey in the 90s could do no wrong. That run she had is absolutely insane. Like there's never been anything like it. She had no duds for like 10 years.
You know what I noticed too when
Jill Sprecker's movies are great too, by the way. Anyway, go ahead.
But one thing I noticed about this film is that there's references to General Hospital, the soap opera, because the little nerdy girl who helps Elle with her LSAT, the little dark-haired girl, Kimberly McCullough, she was known for playing Robin Scorpio Drake on General Hospital for most of her life, ever since she was a child. And there's that scene where Elle's just eating a bunch of chocolate after Warren broke up with her, and there's a scene between Lucky and Elizabeth on General Hospital where he's like he's brainwashed and he says he loves her, and she's like, liar, and throws a box of chocolates. I guess this was when when Kimberly McCullough was taking a break from General Hospital to try to pursue it, because she directs now. She directs a lot of TV shows and streaming shows and stuff like that. So if you look at her credits, so it's pretty interesting. I was like, because I'm like, wow. I was like, I recognize her. You recognize a lot of people in this movie. Like it's almost an all-star cast if you think about it. Or that person cast.
Yeah, it's like an all-star cast for like that people. Like, you know what I mean? I really like the joke where they said she had one of the Coppolas, and they don't say what Coppola. She has one of the Coppolas.
Probably Sophia. It was probably Sophia.
It's Roman.
I'm a Coppola, don't worry.
It's a lesser Coppola. Children of a lesser Coppola. Thank you.
And they're discussing like their own DEI policy. They're like, we don't have a blonde in here. Like,
well, it's important to note too that the budget for this was something like $18 million, and like it grossed like almost $100,000 just in the U.S. and then it went double that in like worldwide. No, absolutely. I mean,
bring back those budgets for film, please. Nothing has to be $300 million for Netflix alone.
You don't want to see Avengers Blonde? They really don't. They don't make those like mid-level comedies the way they used to. Everything is either slop for streaming when it comes to like or really high budget or like art house like budget,
or elevated,
or like small indie movies that like get that become like Booksmart. Like those types of comedies that kind of get popular because of streaming. Like, I mean, Judd Apatow was kind of pushing those types of comedies, but for like adults, obviously. Yeah. With the 4-Year-Old Virgin and Knocked Up and.
But just for
you gotta have a space for a Victor Garber of the world. Where else are you gonna put him other than the Flash?
Yeah, I forget he's like for the longest time, a lot of people thought he was straight, and I'm like,
Victor Garber.
Yeah, he's gay because he was always playing straight men.
Oh, okay.
Like, I mean, I remember him as, Mr. Andrews in Titanic, the guy who created, like, who invented the Titanic or whatever. But him playing like a sleazy, prosecutor just makes so much sense.
By the way, Parker Posey in Dazed and Confused going, "Lick me" as she walks away. Lives rent free in my fucking head.
I love Dazed and Confused for no particular reason.
I was just thinking about that movie last night. I can't believe we haven't ever covered it.
I would love to. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, almost anything from that ilk with Parker Posey is usually a good movie, as we've canonically established, and that also counts. And we like Linklater.
She's probably for life being in Beau is Afraid, though.
Oh man, so good.
Yeah,
wow,
the full cast of her like dead body or whatever.
Yeah. I remember. The North
Is
remembers.
it hard to get into Harvard though?
Victor Garber is great as that dude, though. That archetype of just like, the professor,
like serious down to business, but like he doesn't even believe in his own, client.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing about defense lawyers in general, right? Like, I mean, even look at like the whole OJ trial. Like, that's a big part of it. Is like all those people thought he was fucking guilty, like pretty much. You know what I mean? And then they all are after the fact like, oh yeah, no, we knew he was guilty, but everyone deserves.
You don't admit that.
It's the Alan Dershowitz thing where he's like, even no matter how evil you think the person is, everyone deserves the best defense their money can buy. But just for context about the American Pie thing, right? $11 million for the budget for American Pie, and then it brought in
15 billion.
Yeah, 235 million. So
I remember it was ubiquitous. Like it was inescapable.
Stay away from those pies, Conan.
Yeah, exactly. As a pie lover, I found it to be an anti-pie movie.
I wonder if there is a community of like bakers somewhere out there that's like, American Pie ruined this business for years.
How dare they call it that? That's the name of my pie baking store. Okay.
My business was called American Pie because of how patriotic I was. Now people call up and they ask me if I'm the pie fucker.
Switching gears, Luke Wilson good in this. It's a good Luke Wilson movie.
The good-looking Wilson brother, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
They have a third one too, right?
Yeah, there's three of them. I know.
Lesser Wilson.
Yeah,
it's like there's three Hemsworth brothers, there's three McCulkin brothers. There's it's always competition between all the brothers in acting.
Brother looks like no wonder he didn't make it. Wait,
yeah.
There's the
third Franco brother too.
Bottle Rocket, which is one of the Wes Anderson movies I like. I think it's his first one. They're both in that together. That's really good.
Yeah,
and
dude,
of course, Idiocracy too, like the time.
Prepare your mind for this. All right,
okay.
You might go
Is there also?
He just looks like a guy. It's not scary.
I know, but
I know, but he just doesn't look like a Wilson. Like
he doesn't look like either of his brothers.
Yeah.
Wilson.
He looks like he can't even say wow.
Wow.
He's like wow, and they're like,
you're
never gonna make it in Hollywood, Charlie Manson. Get out of here.
Yeah,
so it's funny that this is 2001, right? So he does Luke Wilson does Royal Tenenbaums, same year.
Wow.
and Old School 2 years later, which is been rightly forgotten by history, but it was a very successful raunchy comedy of the early 2000s. Enough.
I think Luke Wilson is a pretty effective straight man actor. Like like playing like the straight kind of character. To like even his brother is like kind of more whatever. But it's funny that Owen Wilson, I completely forgot, co-wrote with Wes Anderson the Royal Tenenbaums. So like that's he cast his brother in there.
That's another Wes movie I like. Like I like a few of them. I'm not a total hater.
Yeah.
I just don't. I'm not a main person of what his thing has turned into, which is shamelessly ripping off Powell and Pressburger and Jacques Tati and just not writing a story so much. But anyway, that's just.
It's also I don't know. I just every time I like watch one of his movies and I see like his thing, which is one frame here, and he's mirrored, and I'm like, it makes me do the Owen Wilson kind of sarcastic. Wow, he did it again.
He's done it again, folks.
Royal Tenenbaums is good though. I remember.
I like
watching
Royal Tenenbaums.
it
Rushmore, Royal Tenenbaums, Bottle Rocket. I like Life Aquatic.
Yeah.
Falls off for me
Besides Life Aquatic, I didn't really know much about Wes Anderson when I was like a lot younger, and I watched Royal Tenenbaums. Like I didn't even know who he really was.
Yeah.
Because my parents got really into the Life Aquatic for a little bit.
They made a television pilot of this, I guess.
For MTV?
I don't know. I know it was made for ABC. It did not get picked up, but they made a television pilot. Oh, well. Anora's streaming on Hulu. Okay, well, I guess turn this off and go watch that. But
yeah.
Well, no, it was streaming as of yesterday. They put it up on St. Patrick's Day. They're trying to make sure that everyone stays sober. And
when watching that movie and be like, wait, why was this movie good? Okay, whatever. But yeah, I could see that being sold as like a TV pilot.
Yeah,
I feel like it would be one of the few movies that might work as like a TV pilot.
Well, because it's like a procedural, right? Except for like what? Okay, so it's it's unfrozen caveman lawyer, but it's hot blonde girl lawyer. Like, okay, great. There you go.
Yeah.
It's
the cases.
You get a different case every week. It just gives your top writers on it.
I love how fast in the plot point Warren gets engaged to Vivian like that.
This movie moves so quickly. Like I really appreciate it. It moves so quickly.
They could never make Legally Blonde today because
it would have to be like 3+ hours long.
3 hours,
with
exactly.
a Hans Zimmerman type of orchestra background.
It really moves. It's the setup is really quick. There's not a lot of hemming and hawing. It just kind of gets right to business. I feel like she's in Harvard by 20 minutes in. It's like, okay.
Yeah, no, I think it's 12 minutes in.
You guys can say 20 maybe overselling it. Yeah.
I didn't.
It's an hour and a half long movie.
I didn't really want to rewatch to watch this again the whole first part again because I watched the full movie on whatever, but I wanted to watch parts of it to refresh my brain, I guess. And I skipped to 12 minutes in, and then I was like, oh shit, she's at Harvard now.
Yeah. I mean, even her time at Harvard where she's struggling does not last long. It really took for her that Halloween, that costume party, for her to be like, you know what, I'm gonna prove everyone wrong.
Right.
Good for her.
Finds her motivation.
She does not come with the laptop or even the textbooks. I'm like, you're supposed to get the textbooks when you get your classes, and she's just winging it, thinking she can do this. But it takes more for it. Girl, Warren's gonna want you for your brains as well. You're gonna have to, get on the books, or you gotta do it.
Can I just say, and I'm usually the one that's keeping us on topic, but I laughed so hard when they showed the unveiling of the iBooks, which were huge.
Dude,
those clamshell looking. Though it was the future is here, and you look at them now, and it's what even is that?
Well, she gets the tangerine iBook, and in the background they have the They have the IMAX. In the background they have the sign with the IMAX. The tangerine one is the same. I got the tangerine iMac. That was my first computer I ever got.
Yeah, I like
it.
That's
my grandpa had I think he had the gray iBook. And I remember we used to play. They had that bug game that they had automatically downloaded on it, where you were running through everything and you were the roly poly bug or whatever.
But it is funny to place a movie based on the technology, right? It's I know exactly when this movie
came out. It's a giant ad for those. I'm like, yeah, it probably was.
Bugdum's the name of the game that they had on all the iMacs. It was on the OS 9 or whatever. But it was the bug, and he would roll and he would take on all the other bugs, and then there was these stupid fucking wasp things that you'd have to fight, and they would try to sting you.
Oof. I bet you Elle Woods was studying and not playing that game.
Well, that game came out in 1999, so she could have been, playing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so crazy though that in the beginning, Elle's Vivian's just mean to her out of nowhere because she knows Warren's yeah, that's my ex. She's just bitched to her from the get go, and then all of a sudden she realizes Elle's not this very vindictive, girl or whatever. Like, she's not vindictive. Like, even when they join like the law, the case together, like Vivian's the one who has to get Callahan's coffee and the files and do all the boring, shit. And that was actually, involved, but she's not begrudging, Vivian at all. And I guess, because that's another pacing thing. Like, I don't know where Vivian's nice to her. And I'm like, you kind of have to like figure out why she's realizing Elle's not some.
Well, it's a female solidarity thing. Like, I think it makes sense. Like, the fact that the guy is clearly fucking a sexist pig. That's the college professor and
who likes his blondes and not the
like he's the slimiest guy besides Ted Cruz to go out of Harvard Law. And that makes perfect sense to me. I just think it's funny that this movie is like like MGM's like this is our version of American Pie, but then it ended up being a way more. I mean, I'm not saying feminist in any real tangible sense, but like really a much more feminist. Like the original conceit that they were working with was like bikinis and thongs at Harvard Law or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, you also got to understand that there wasn't a ton of movies like this around this time. Also, I mean,
all the movies were very, very raunchy, rated R for the most part, or even like the mocking of a lot of those teen movies, like Not Another Teen Movie with.
Well, yeah, especially after Scream kind of became popular, and then then became meta contextual like parody and so on. Which of course gave Anna Faris a lot of work, and that's great. But anyway,
not another teen movie was this year. It was the same year too, like that kind of parodying of those kinds of
future Captain America.
But
so
I mean, I think
that you can see that thing kind of getting like the teen melodrama kind of thing getting like burnt out by this point, right? Like
sure, but also like I guess what I'm driving at is that like in the. And this is, early 2000s, but like late 90s, early 2000s. If there was any like sort of feminist films, it was usually indie art house stuff. Unless it was something, or it was something like Tank Girl, right? Where it's like, oh no, she's got a tank, so that's gay feminism. I like Tank Girl, by the way, but Laura Petty, where'd you go? But it was, or it was super serious, like G.I. Jane or something.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah, but also it really also kind of showed, like Elle's not even like the stereotypical blonde because they talk about her boobs a lot, and I'm like, her boobs aren't even that big. What are you talking about?
She's like, oh, what do I bring to the table besides something? And like she's like my looks and big boobs, and I was thinking like. I don't know if you bring that second one to the table exactly. Like,
they're very nice.
Yeah, it's like
they're nice. I'm just saying, like it's weird to be like I don't know. Like,
it's like Warren wants a Jackie Kennedy, now Marilyn Monroe. I'm like, well, that's not what JFK wanted. I'm just saying he had Marilyn Monroe, and so did Bobby. I don't know what you talking about.
But that whole thing of like having the right family. And like having the quote unquote right wife,
so like Philadelphia Society or whatever the hell, like something like.
That is, I cannot overstate how much that is an East Coast feeling thing, but it's definitely an East Coast feeling thing, and especially that area of the East Coast,
like New England, type of
old money kind of,
Or especially like naming the character like Vivian Kensington, like what I mean?
Like, just like a really posh name,
Warren something the third. But also too, if you look at Elle's parents, they're rich but kind of dumb, but like her dad's always holding a martini in his hand.
It's West Coast versus East Coast. You know what I mean? Like
that's West Coast rich. Yeah, exactly.
She's supposed to be bringing like the whole SoCal like vibe to the function. You know what I mean? And like they're like, whoa, we've never seen anything like this before.
That's right.
You're telling me there's another coast? Yeah.
Exactly. Hey, they seem way more relaxed on that coast. They're deeply unserious over there.
I do like how Elle is not a mean person. Like, they say lies, like, the lesbian radical character, like, her being called the D word, and Elle's like, I would never say that to you. I don't talk about people behind their backs. Or even helping Oz Perkins' character get like a date. She's like, how dare you? You gave me the pleasure of my life. She
intervenes to make it seem like that they were dating to kind of give him some clout.
And the stereotype is the hot chicks are hesitant to do that.
Right.
Well, there's the whole thing where she's like, oh, well, she's like, you call me a dyke behind my back, and she's like, I would never use that word. And it's like there's something very pure and innocent about her character. I feel like very Like I don't know, which I honestly, for that reason, understand why like seeing Tracy Flick or something, you'd be like, I can't see Reese Witherspoon in this role, like, you know, at that point, because it's like, she's like the ambitious, like do anything to win style thing that's just not there for Elle. Elle doesn't, like, until the end where she's like, like I could really make it as a lawyer. She's kind of just going along.
Right. Yeah. And that's what makes it different. And I think there is a deep humanity to it too. I think you're onto something with that, Kristina. And you got to remember, this is the culture of the rise of they were emails and they were forwarded around, but like, you know, the blonde jokes, like cometh. Like that was like the late 90s, early 2000s when that became a thing. And usually not very funny, just mean, but but they were everywhere. And so this was kind of leaning into that, but kind of turning it on its head as well, because in fact she's not a dummy, you know, and she can do it. You know?
She just has to apply herself.
Fashion conscious
and literally apply. What? Like it's hard?
Yeah.
Well, that line does hit hard when you find out that he had to use his dad's connections to get into Harvard.
Right, he was waitlisted.
Yeah, when Vivian was spilling the tea, I was like, oh hell yeah,
he gets into Harvard on her own reconnaissance. Whether she's a DEI student acceptance
for her blonde hair alone. Oh god. But it's true though, because it's like this guy can't be like he's not too good to be true, and you could definitely take your eyes off him because he's really not much to look at compared to Luke Wilson.
Lump. He's a dude, just some dude.
And he doesn't have much of a character development because he's very like shallow. Like he's very much about himself and like hoping to be a senator one day, and it's ridiculous. And the fact that Vivian found him to be good enough is even the craziest part, because I'm like, if I were a girl like her, I would not want to be with him either. Like he seems like a fucking loser.
But the nice thing is, other than like a plot point and impetus to get her there, like he's not that important.
Yeah,
I mean he's very important to the plot, but like it's not centered around him.
He's not that into you.
It's centering around her bettering herself, like getting better at the craft. Like at first she knew nothing, but then she's talking about like sperm.
And it's upturning the stereotype. It's upturning the like ditzy blonde stereotype. Right?
As we learned from Anatomy of a Murder, you know, like
exactly.
Every good lawyer needs to talk about sperm.
Yeah, except for my cousin Vinny.
Where does the sperm go? Are they culpable for the sperm ejaculate through masturbatory practices?
You would have absolutely won that case, by the way.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah.
Also, I love
golly, without him, I just don't see that baby coming into the world without his ejaculate.
That could be like if we still did wrap-up parties, like do a game. We swap one lawyer from a movie into another lawyer into another movie.
Can you imagine Vinny and Legally Blonde?
Yeah.
I mean, I think,
People are you sure about those 20 minutes?
No, we let a blonde Harvard law, but we will not let an Italian in here.
Yeah. People are you sure about the 20-minute shower chutney?
Jimmy Stewart, what are you doing here?
You were like, you really believe a story, Vinny, that she took a 20-minute shower? And he's like, what do you?
I do like the fact that when they get accepted into that case or whatever, Elle's the only one who's like, she's innocent. I mean, because it's a tale as old as time. Young wife murders older husband for money type of situation. It's not like that at all. She was like, oh no, he had a huge dick, so we were definitely fucking. Like
that was
like I was like,
but his dick 49.
Yeah.
Well, and it's Ali Larter's interesting too, because she's definitely like recognizable as an actress, but I feel like it never really goes beyond that. But she's great as the like, oh, of course that would be the person who has these kinds of courses and does these kinds of things.
And then she's like,
an influencer now, but like
I'm a liar. Like,
yeah, but what I'm getting at is that like the casting for that is like absolutely perfect, because I think she was a model before she became an actress anyway.
Yeah,
and she was mostly been cast in things to like look cool. Like she's in like some of those Resident Evil movies that are just definitionally garbage. They're not good movies, but like, what are you gonna do? Do you want hot action figures blowing up CGI monsters? Great.
Her husband is somehow a guy that's even more of that guy his name is like Hayes MacArthur, which is hilarious. Like I really that's a funny name.
Oh
for
my
it.
god, that's like made it from central casting.
He is, but 100% like seeing this guy, I recognize him, but I have no fucking idea from where. Wait, hold on.
Hayes MacArthur.
Look at I 100% have seen that guy in TV shows or something.
He was in Anti-Tribeca with Rashida Jones. That show was great. The cop, the buddy cop, kind of like farce comedy.
Yeah,
it was good. It was a funny show. I forgot that it existed until right now. But he was the the dude. He was Rashida Jones's partner.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Thank you, everybody. A niche TV show that nobody cares about. You're welcome.
Oh yeah, who's that guy after?
She found a guy that's like another, that guy. Because I think she's like a, she's like that a very girl. that girl actress. Like,
yeah. I mean, if you want a, wait, he was in Pushing Daisies.
Yep,
he was
yeah.
I guess.
God, it's been a long time since I've seen that. That was a great show, though.
Yeah, I love that show.
Bring it back. But I do like the fact that
he's also the doorman in the TiVo Guy episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, there you go.
I love the
Thank you, Fargo. Anti-Tribeca erasure. Anti-Tribeca is super underrated. Funny show. I enjoyed it. I mean, I just forgot all about it until like right now. Until I literally saw the dude. I was like, oh yeah. It's
General Hayes MacArthur, instrumental in winning the war on drugs for cannabis.
Good. But yeah, okay, but getting back to the film, it's weird because I feel like now things have become like meta-contextual about it, but it really was just, oh, they're a blonde. You know what that means culturally at this time. And it was annoying, but there was nothing to like counteract it really happening in the monoculture at the time. So that's one of the reasons. I think it's one of the reasons why there was such a hit, because it was, first of all, good. Secondly, very funny. And thirdly, just like really like upended what at the time was a really ridiculous stereotype. That was based a lot of hack jokes were like, that's the joke.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to it other than the fact that she's blonde, and that's the punchline. Okay.
Well, I mean, at the same time as like I feel like a lot of those blonde jokes go around the same time as like the Bill Clinton scandal and like, having like women working in your office or something that they're just kind of bimbos or whatever, like that turns around like that kind of like pretty base sexism.
Yeah. Well, and it was definitely it was patriarchal based. It was institutionalized sexism, and it was everywhere.
Yeah, and like Elle faces it. I mean, honestly, with Warner as well, because he still doesn't really take her seriously, and he's like, oh, who cares what people think? Do you? And she's like, yeah, but I gotta care what people think, because people have this perception of me. And of course, Callahan. We don't. I mean, we kind of already feel like he's a sleazy guy because he doesn't. I mean, the fact that he automatically assumes that his client is guilty is the craziest part. I'm like, you gotta, you have these people on your team, give them a chance.
She's blonde. She's blonde.
But I think what's interesting thinking about this movie then in 2001 versus recently is like the one thing that's it's like missing is like an America Ferrera like speech from like Barbie. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have that moment, which is good because
blonde, but not too blonde.
Right? Yeah. But it wouldn't have worked in this because culturally it wasn't the time for it. And again. The lean runtime is what makes it good because you get everything you need to know about her character at first. But it's important to note that, at no point are you like, oh, this chick's a dummy at all. Like it's not like, and far from it, if you're actually paying attention, she does like all these incredibly like smart and deft moves. It's just that like she's, like fish out of water, right? There has to be the fish out of water tropes that happen and they do. But thankfully they get past them pretty quickly and then she shows her worth.
Yeah, I mean, she already had a 4.0 GPA when she was in college in the sorority. Like she was doing, she was pretty, she was smart, quote unquote, in her own way.
Also, there's this like, tendency to look down on fashion where at the same time, the quote unquote serious people, every single one of them has an entire team of fashion people behind them to like make them look fashionable and make them look better for TV. But you're never supposed to mention that part of it. You know what I mean? Like because like in America, especially with like American politics, like caring about your appearance, you have to seem like you don't care about your appearance, but also look a certain way.
And especially at this time, which this is the same year
Yeah.
Zoolander came out. And as ridiculous as it is to cite Zoolander as a reference point, like it was culturally and through farce and comedy where there was a mainstream sort of turning point where, like, strangely enough, it actually helped bring that. And obviously, like, other people had fashion as an art form and so on and so on. But like it was, as a person that was literally there, I can tell you there was a before and after for 2001, which is crazy because. It's, there's also another thing that happened around that year.
Frosty Eyeshadow died. Anyway,
but it's like it's also like you find out about all of these like powerful political figures and how much they really were image conscious after the fact, right? Like the George Bush campaign with like making him look like he's some kind of ranch cowboy when he bought that ranch the same year that he ran, like, what I mean, first ran for governor. Like, it's all these image conscious things that
it's affectation, it's image as in politics and things beyond just fashion. Yeah.
But because of that, we're not supposed to ever praise or give good attention to the people that are in that fashion world, like that are kind of conscious about it, because we like to pretend in our minds that like those kinds of people that would be the ones helping like boost the politician's image and stuff don't exist, because we're like, they just did that all themselves, like it's
right.
Yeah. Well, you also think about how Elle dresses. Like, she thinks her version, like, when she first goes to that class, she's wearing like a pea coat of some sort or a pencil coat, and like she's dressed like in almost like a robe, thinking like this is how people at Harvard dress. But then she just embraces her her colorful attire and just wears more like business casual appropriate outfits too, because she's like, she knows she has to like, she still has to look the part, but she wants to still have aspects of herself in her,
she finds a nice balance with it. Where she's expressing her own sense of self, but also meeting the moment for professionalism and what's expected for that role as well. I think it's very organic.
Yeah,
I would love to swap her and Zoolander out.
Your Honor.
Fantastic.
They don't think I can be a lawyer because I'm ridiculously really good looking.
Apparently, according to Ben Stiller, like anyone that comes up to him, it's almost always someone that wants him to do Blue Steel to this day, which is amazing. Of all the things that guy's done.
Yeah.
Not teach you how to say asshole
and then there was it was an interview. He's just like, "And well, do you do it?" And then he did it in the interview. It was like, "Yes, that's awesome." I love freaking the guy who made Severance happen. By the way, people forget about that.
Yeah, he's the creator of Severance. But it's hilarious that like that whole movie, he's like, "I can't turn left." Like last week, like.
Zoolander is preposterous, but it's so good.
What's the funniest excuse?
Blue Magnum.
What's funny? What? Elle might have a point about with the she didn't do it because she was happy. She's like, exercise gives you endorphins, and endorphins make you happy. Happy people don't just go killing their husbands. I'm like, especially a guy with a huge dick. Like, come on now, like. Know about life insurance could make me kill my husband.
There's something funny.
If that dick is trash, forget it.
If that dick is trash, that man is going in the trash.
Exactly. If that dick is trash, you got to get that cash.
Ooh.
No, if that dick is trash, I'm getting that cash.
No, that's not a yes and that's a correction, and that's not.
I'm
overruled.
Right. Oh man. Sustained.
Yeah.
But this isn't the Derek Zoolander Center for kids who can't read good and want to learn to do other stuff good too. So let's get back to League of here.
I love how she does have the alibi, but she's like, I can't tell you. Like,
bigger the life insurance policy.
Damn. What was that, Kristina?
I love how she's like, I have the alibi, but I can't, and of course, like, you got to give it to her. She's like, I can't sisterhood, but then he's like, at least you went, before he sexually, harasses her. He's like, at least you actually had the guts to go there and ask for the alibi. That's a real good lawyer tactic. I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do when you got to interview people.
Yeah. No, but it's also a good sign of her character, right? Like it's something
Yeah.
like she'd have the ability to, get ahead. Clearly, her dude would totally have done it if the situations were reversed, and it's like no, that shows that she's, got a moral code, a moral center. It's nice.
Yeah, and also too, you can't be lying about whether or not you got liposuction as a fitness guru. Okay, you just can't.
Right.
Well, now
BBL.
I feel like everybody that's in that fitness world does stuff to their body, but it's interesting seeing a movie. It's interesting seeing a movie where they're like, I secretly got liposuction, because now it's everybody, like every fucking celebrity is. A lot of them are like open about plastic surgery or open about all that stuff. It's like. Yeah, it's like it's a little bit.
Cher's had plastic surgery. What a surprise!
At least she still looks like Cher, unlike Madonna.
Wow.
But I like Reese Witherspoon. She has aged very, very gracefully. Like her and so many actresses from that time period have not touched their faces, and thank God.
Yeah, I'm giving you the old man.
Speaking of which, the bend and snap.
Make them blue. There we go.
Works every time. I've done it in the past.
You've done did you learn it from this movie?
Yes.
Well,
the freaking show has an entire song called the bend and snap. I'm like, if you don't even have a song about the bend and snap, that was crazy. Well, I'm like, hell yeah, now you can instruct people with a dance and a song.
Well, I get it. Like you gotta put the hits out. You know what I mean?
I know.
But it's so funny when that Jennifer Coolidge is gonna fuck that up.
Yeah, it's Jennifer Coolidge.
And even though I knew it was coming, I was like, oh, god damn. Yeah.
But it still ends up with her. I love
my snap was all over the place.
Yeah.
It's so funny because everyone knows about the UPS guy, obviously, but in the show, he's like, he comes up and everyone's like, woohoo, and he's like, I've got a package.
Well, he's just that guy and the way that he plays it, right? Like in the that guy seems
he wants to get that thick. Rode hard. Ride it, baby, ride me.
But he plays it. He does such a good job playing it like a over the top porn actor. Pretty much, he's like, I've got a package.
Special delivery. It's a huge package. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, all right, what are you talking about? Huh?
Oh, Ellie, I fucked it up. I fucked up the bend and snap.
Yeah, it's fun. I just thought about all the other girls knew about it, and then the gay guys works every time.
I do like that people. Weird. It's crazy the White Lotus for people to realize that Jennifer Coolidge is an American treasure.
I knew that since Legally Blonde and A Cinderella Story.
Well, she was 3 years before. I mean, she was Stifler's mom is one of the iconic performances in one of those.
I think they created the MILF cat. I think MILF was invented because of her, because I never heard of MILF until American Pie.
But her character in Best in Show is so just over the top and just preposterous and again, she's just so consistent, and so it's crazy that it was White Lotus. But I mean, hey, she got to play great.
They're trying to kill me.
The gays are trying to kill me. Yeah, it's amazing.
She's in 4 Christopher Guest movies, right?
She's in I want to say maybe more than that even.
Yeah.
We'll get our
I was watching. They've been putting out all that stuff where it's like, oh, people that applied for SNL that didn't get in.
And she was one of them.
Yeah, she auditioned for SNL, and that the lady that was running casting was the lady that was finding people to cast, or one of them. She was like, I thought it was her style was hilarious, but I guess they didn't get it.
Lauren knows nothing. But looking at the SNL, all the rejects, it's those people end up having bigger careers than they would have had on SNL.
Second Pootie Tang reference this month, by the way. I did not have that on my Justice Extravaganza.
It is pretty funny though, her voice saying Pootie Tang. Pootie Tang.
That was this year too. She was in this year. So actually, wait, wasn't she in Zoolander too? I feel like she also was in Zoolander.
I think she was everywhere in the early and mid 2000s.
Yeah, she was exactly. And
you look like the 4th of July. Makes me want a hot dog real bad. Legally Blonde too.
Yep.
I like how she was this little, you think this big voluptuous woman's shit type of.
She was just her name in Zoolander, just American designer. But yeah, she had a cameo in Zoolander.
Yeah.
First, I don't know why I have Zoolander on the brain. The fact that it came out this year.
It's hilarious. It's hilarious. There's a Trump cameo in Zoolander too, where he's like, "Dang Zoolander."
Oh,
She's
God.
she's in Promising Young Woman too. I forgot about that.
Yep.
You're such a promising young woman.
It's weird, like, because at first you think Paula Belafonte is like this, like, tough broad, because she's this big woman, but she's a little mousy who couldn't even handle getting her her bully back, her baby, her her sweet little, pit bull or whatever. But then Elle steps in, and she's like, "I'm taking the dog, dumbass."
Yeah,
good for her.
I mean, it's another character that does the thing really well, where there's something deeply like almost innocent about them, even as they like even as they're kind of in this position where it's like, she's a manicurist, she like is I don't know what she saw in that fucking trailer guy, the trailer trash guy, but like,
oh yeah, that guy sucks.
There's something deeply like deeply innocent feeling about her character.
Yeah, and that's like Elle's like comfort place to go to if something like goes wrong, like when after Callahan harasses her, she goes there because she's leaving and everyone thinks that she asked for it, of course, and it's Holland Taylor who's like, come on girl, seriously, you're gonna let one man ruin your life? Fuck off. Like, I love that. I love she was the one who convinced her. Keep going, girl, you got this. And the fact that she goes there is hilarious. Was she there during the bend and snap day? No.
A bend? She's doing her like,
well, bend and snap.
Bend and snap.
Do it for Sarah Paulson. Are they still dating? I don't know.
She does the Socratic method thing where it's pretty funny to hear Luke Wilson say Socratic method, because he's like, I'm sorry, it's hard for me to believe that Luke Wilson is at Harvard. But like that is like a real, like in college and stuff, like professors are like, oh, we're just gonna pick on like one person at random, and they're like, they do the Socratic method thing where it's like you have to be extra prepared for classes, and like it feels almost nightmarish to imagine you go to like somewhere like Harvard Law on your first day, you get immediately like put into
accredited,
singled out. And
I mean, they did that at my technical college, but as someone who studied to be a psychology major, I already had stuff in the bag, so I was like,
you're just built different, as it turns
and they learned not to be picky then. Because I would have the same professors that are like, we're not picking you, Kristina. Don't worry. And I'm like,
I already had stuff in the bag. That's a weird way to refer to your head, but all right.
But a swing.
Yeah. So mascots that Christopher Guest movie she was in.
And she was in A Mighty Wind also.
And For Your Consideration.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, it's weird. I feel like Legally Blonde also brought the popularity of Chihuahuas because of also at the time the Taco Bell Chihuahua was the mascot. Speaking of mascots, I feel like a lot of people wanted to get their own. It plus also freaking Paris Hilton had Tinkerbell. Like a lot of women in that early 2000s had, little Chihuahua dogs. And I will say this as a Chihuahua dog defender. It's all about how you as the owner are trained to take care of your dogs, because I had customers who went to puppy school to learn how to train their Chihuahuas, and they were sweethearts. Like they weren't ankle biters. They would lay on the couch when we would vacuum. They would come greet us and want to be held. Like they were friendly dogs. And it's like they're like the the pit bulls for small dogs, it seems.
I guess it is because of I guess it is because of Best in Show, but I always think of Jennifer Coolidge as like paired up with like Fred Willard.
Oh sure, yeah. Well, I mean, and that's God. I mean, we got to do Best in Show at some point, like right. That's one of my favorite comedies of all time. It's so
yeah.
It's so
there were all these like gutter level like like parody movies or whatever that they would team them up as well, like during like the mid 2000s. Yeah. They were churning those out like crazy.
Because people were licking them up. That's why.
Yeah.
But let's throw it up on the stoop and see if the cat licks it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Exactly. What?
But that dog, right? That they had that she
Bruiser.
had. Bruiser, like the actor that played Bruiser, the actor
known as Bruiser.
That dog lived with and was like I don't know if they were siblings or they just kind of lived together with the Yo Quiero Taco Bell dog. Yeah, so they had the same trainer, and they ended up living out their days like together. So when he's barking at the Yo Quiero Taco Bell ad,
Fred,
it's because
I know you.
It's like literally his like roommate.
Yeah. Like, yo, what up?
That's
Why
amazing.
can't I get to you? Huh?
It actually was supposed to be the Yokira Taco Bell dog, but I was reading this thing. It was like, oh yeah, she was booked. She was booked too much so we found her like friend.
Found her understudy and roommate.
Wow.
Okay. All right.
Wow.
That's a lot of dog casting information I didn't expect to have.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yokira Taco Bell.
So, like getting back to like the pacing of this movie, how fast things go, like they jump to like the actual like
Let's make it quick. Let's make it snappy.
yeah,
Exactly.
like Bend and Snap.
Bend
And
and snappy. Yeah. Make it bend and snappy. That's
They
great. That's my new
don't-
saying. I'm gonna
it's-
say it all the time. I'm gonna be known for saying it.
yeah, they
came up
it's
with it.
clear that the ex-wife and the daughter and even the gay or European pool boy, they want their 15 minutes of fame.
Gay or European. One of the two.
That's the spoke in the musical Conan. Is he gay or European? And
Oh my god.
This
All
is
right.
so
I
funny.
believe you. I believe you.
Well, that
like-
guy is definitely not in this movie. This guy is definitely not European. He's Latino as fuck.
I was like, he's gay.
yeah, like I don't like it was.
He
funny.
knows a shoe manufacturer. He's gay.
He reminds me of
stereotype.
the way that actor played it reminds me of the gay Cuban character in The Simpsons that they always just throw into random episodes. Where he's
Yeah.
oh honey.
Oh my god, that's so true. That's so true. But I love how she's like, he's gay, and he's like, no, he's not. Like Callahan's like not even trying to like, let her have a say.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's the point of having like these students involved in the case if you're not going to get their input?
Well, I
too?
can see that one. I can see that one, like, because it's based on kind of a flimsy thing, but that's why it makes it funny. I do like it's a perfect like early 2000s thing where you're like questioning the guy in the sand. And you're like, so you guys had sex? Yes, we had sex. And he's like, and where'd you go on that date? Oh, we went there. And what's your boyfriend's name? And then he's like,
Chuck.
Yeah, Chuck. And then
You bitch.
Yeah. Oh no,
Oh
we're
my
just
God.
friends. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And she's like, he did leave a share CD in the pool house once, and I'm like,
I feel like if this movie was made by, let's say, a Clint Eastwood type guy,
oh god.
something like that, right? Like, and you're like, oh, these are the gay characters. You'd be like, oh man, this is so dated. But because like looking at the actual guy that directed it and was like had like a major hand in like rewriting it and like putting it on screen, it's like, yeah, that guy is very openly gay.
Yeah.
I think it's cool that going back to all the way to last week, not last episode, but the one before that, that the courtroom scene was actually inspired by My Cousin Vinny. And
Yeah.
the writers
Yeah.
wanted a monologue basically that was like on the level of Marissa Tomei's monologue in that
Yeah,
scene.
and it's about the perm and the shower and and I loved it. I loved it. Like it's like she starts gaining her confidence. Like you can tell good thing. Like she points, like she pays attention. Like it's actually a good thing she kept asking about that shower and it got annoying to the point where she's like, and then she asked what she was doing that day. She's like, I did this, I did that, got a perm, and she's like,
Oh, you got a
You
perm, but you were in the shower.
Yeah, you were in the
Shower.
shower. Interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
By the
like-
way, if you
And
were
it's a
looking
real
at any-
thing. It is a real thing. If you get a perm, you cannot shower for like God knows how many hours after you get a perm because it'll wash. It will get rid of all that chemical that Elle said. And yeah,
But by the way, if you were to say like, oh, the writers and the director of Legally Blonde, what they looked like, it would 100% be this group of people.
oh boy,
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the two of them are the writers, and then he's the director of
Yeah.
it. I would be like, no, yeah, that's who.
yeah, that's true.
I like that per her contract, Reese Witherspoon got to keep all the outfits.
She
That's
has 40 hairstyles.
That's a pro move.
The movie might
in
move
the
fast,
movie,
but she
yeah.
had 40 separate hairstyles that they put on her during the movie.
Yeah, that's
That's
her
like-
hair or wigs.
Her hair. He had hairdressers like on set. He said that she was starting to get really annoyed by the end of it because he had so many hairdressers that were just constantly like messing up her hair and like changing it around and like.
Well, it's like in Barbie, she had so many different hairstyles in the Barbie movie. Margot Robbie did, but you notice towards her hair starts to become more human-like towards the end, and also too, that Rachel McAdams didn't want to dye her hair blonde for Mean Girls, so she was wearing like a $20,000 worth like of real human hair wig, and I'm like, what? So when I think of when Reese Witherspoon using her actual hair to do all those hairstyles, I'm like,
Yeah.
Damn, I would get annoyed too. I'd be like, stop taking my hair.
So, but that's also like that's the role too. So,
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's crazy.
Well, these are all of them.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's. I don't think it's all of them, but
Especially
it's like,
with the
1, 2, 3,
pacing,
4,
a lot of these
5.
scenes are very short.
10, 20.
I'm like, okay, we're gonna
that's
put your
only,
hair up.
that's only 25 of them. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of them are pretty similar, but still.
Yeah. Some of that. Well, that was also the time where girls putting bobby pins in their hair to pin back their hair and
Sure.
stuff like that. The little pump, little bump. Boop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I like the scene. I like the scene where she gets tricked into putting the Playboy bunny costume on, and she turns that whole thing on his head, because that feels like such a classic like college movie prank.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good. I mean, like it's again, it's a
turning point for her.
Yes, absolutely. But there's like an interiority to it that like you don't need a bunch of like exposition to figure it out. Like it's just kind of shows you in the context of the story, which is, I don't know, it's a breath of fresh air. I feel like there's way too much of that these days where it's like, oh my God, don't tell me like literally everything. I can figure it out. I'm not an idiot,
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's one thing I remember when watching this movie. It's like, wow, not everything is really explained to you. You just, the writing's good, the direction's good, the editing is great. Enough to be surprised or not, depending on if you know your hair care.
About perm maintenance.
Yeah, if you know about perm maintenance and all that. So, I will say, like, if you want to relax your hair, you can even wash your hair too. I mean, I know this for a fact. Whenever I would straighten my hair, I'm like, I can't take a shower because then it'd be curled up again.
There's something very funny about the ending though, and like the
text.
They're like take her away. Well, the text too, but they're like take her away. She murdered her father, and everyone's like cheering in the courtroom that it's not Ali Larder, and like it's funny like I don't know, because you could play that like in a very different way for this.
I thought it was you walking through the door. Linda Cardellini. I mean, that's another another role that's kind of legendary, because it's like the typical stepdaughter who's like the same age as the new wife, or older or younger,
Yeah.
This is the time period where she was living with Jason Segel and like dating him.
During, after Freaks and Geeks or during Freaks and Geeks?
They dated for like 7 years or something afterwards, and then their breakup inspired Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I found that out last
Russell
night.
Brand?
I love.
I'll do it.
Russell Brand is in it. It's not starring Russell Brand. It's starring Kristen Bell and Jason Segel, but
yeah.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall's amazing. That's a fantastic.
No, I like that movie a lot. I guess
Yeah,
like
exactly.
at least there's implications that it's like
The
that
Dracula
nude
puppet
scene,
show.
that nude scene that happened to him. That's a real Dracula musical.
That's right. I forgot about that. That's
or he's
an amazing
naked and
scene.
he's like, all right, who's ready to get? And she's like, no, we're breaking up.
Yeah.
That Dracula puppet musical, by the way, real thing that Jason Segel wrote during the time between when he became like How I Met Your Mother, and like he became like more famous, and Freaks and Geeks, where he literally called Judd Apatow on the phone and was like, I need to show you something immediately. And he drove to Judd Apatow's house at like 2 a.m. and was like, you need to see this. And he like played his Dracula musical. Judd Apatow went, never show this to another living soul. Like, just don't do it.
Just hold on to it so it could just dazzle in the movie in canon.
Well, no, so he didn't. And then they were like, Jason Segel was struggling to figure out how to end Forgetting Sarah Marshall because he wrote it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm going to do the Dracula puppet musical. And and
perfect.
Judd Apatow was like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah. he's like, okay, I trust you, or something.
It's amazing though. Like it's a capstone of an already great movie, So
but it's like it really is, that movie is like his life, which is hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah.
I wonder, since because I'm looking this up, Legally Blonde is based off. I wonder how close to the novel the film was.
So the novel, I can't imagine it's well written. They could not find somebody to, like, the woman self-published it.
Yeah.
And then she sent it simultaneously to all the studios, and MGM was like, "Oh, we'd be interested in this because we're looking for an American Pie type movie."
Pie.
But nobody would publish it. It didn't get published until years after Legally Blonde came out.
That's interesting. Yeah. So it's Yeah, it was novels based on Brown's experience while enrolled in Stanford Law School. Okay. And apparently it's a series, yeah. So,
Yeah.
first in a series of young adult novels featuring the character of Elle Woods. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's funny? I was looking up Meredith Scotland, who played like the lesbian character in League of One. The last film she was in was Vamps in 2012 with Kristen Ritter and Alicia Silverstone. She pretended to be a soy vampire, like a psychic vampire or whatever. Yeah, which is, I'm like, wow, because she's also one of those that guy type of
absolutely
actress.
The description on Google of Legally Blonde is kind of funny. Elle Woods has it all. She wants nothing more than to be Mrs. Warner Huntington III. But there's one thing stopping him from proposing. She is too blonde.
Oh my god, I forgot
all of her resources. It gets into Harvard.
I forgot Raquel Welch played the ex-wife. I was like,
oh yeah, it's Raquel Welch.
Face.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she always looked so good for her age. God bless her.
Yeah.
I know she's no longer with us, but oh my god, like she's just got all the right work done. But I'm like, I was like, wait, that's Raquel Welch. Oh, I love her.
She has a very similar vibe to the Holland Taylor like thing that she does.
Yeah, very, very calm and almost kind of like intimidating, sort of in that like regards.
It would be hilarious. Like, I mean, two of them are dead now, but it'd be hilarious to watch a movie with Holland Taylor, Jessica Walter from Arrested Development, and Raquel Welch, and they're all and they're three women who are like in some kind of like friendship rivalry triangle, and they all have fucking cocktails, and they're all like.
Man. That'd be great. I'd watch that. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of also interesting that the guy who played the UPS guy is known for doing like motion capture in video games. Yeah, Bruce Thomas. Crazy.
I don't know anything about that. Yeah. Okay.
Bruce Thomas. Get in here.
It's funny the whole when it says Malibu Barbie, right? They actually made a Legally Blonde themed Barbie doll for the second one.
Is it the pink suit and the?
I believe so. I vaguely remember it.
It is her wearing it's that pink. Yeah, I had it.
Yeah, I remember seeing that outfit on a Barbie. I feel like when I was a kid at the toy store.
Yep. I had him.
Like
I
think the doll comes with it too, if I remember right.
Red, white, and blonde.
I remember like hearing Malibu.
Nope. What happened?
I don't know. Heard.
I remember.
It's creepy to be horny for the dead. Well,
is it? I'm so horny for the dead right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can answer that, Rick, but thanks for finding some content to fill a little time.
It would be very funny to find out there really is an afterlife, and they know when you're horny for them.
But then, like, what age would they be too? Like, that's the other thing too, right? Like,
would they still be on Social Security? Just kidding. I remember every time when I heard Malibu Bar, I always think of Joan Cusack in the Addams Family movie. She's like, I wanted to be ballerina Barbie, not Malibu Barbie.
Oh, I always think of Malibu Stacy, the Simpsons version of Barbie.
Oh.
Like,
she's very like Barbie. But Elle Woods is very much like a Barbie doll. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I did own the Barbie doll, and I had my own little bruiser in the purse. So,
but that's why this like it's so interesting that her first role is like Tracy Flick, which is such a role that's so unlike the Reese Witherspoon kind of thing that we've come to know because of Legally Blonde, right? Because she's perfect in this role, I think, as this character. But like you see like the much slammier side of her as Tracy Flick. Even though
it was like this was considered so different from that at the time because again. It was something where she wasn't like a worldwide superstar or anything. So I guess, a lot of people were just like, oh, she's just like that. And it's like, why would you think it's called acting? That doesn't mean that like the person is just like on the screen, like, being themselves. Like, it's great.
Yeah, it's not like Dakota Johnson's the shy, submissive. Never mind.
Like, I get it when it's like a normal person, right? Like a normal person, they watch movies and like, but like, what is like a studio executive?
But studio executive, you would expect better from,
David Zaslav removing all of Looney Tunes.
Definitely wouldn't. I don't know about better, but I definitely would expect at least that for them to know what acting is. Like,
exactly. One would imagine.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Mooney, who played Bruiser, lived to be 18 years old.
Died in 2016. Ugh.
So that's like
Trump.
88 in dog years.
Trump killed Bruiser. Yeah.
And was present when Reese Witherspoon received her star in the Hollywood Walk of Fame in December 2010.
You know who got her star today? Gal Gadot.
Ugh. Who was
She's like,
protesting,
I'm
right?
indigenous to Israel. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up.
Shut up.
So Gidget's the dog and Gidget didn't live as long, but Gidget's the Taco Bell Chihuahua that was originally going to be cast in this movie, but
That's a good Chihuahua name. Gidget.
I did not expect to have so much Chihuahua discourse tonight, but here we are.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Bruiser is an important character. I don't know if he's in the show. No, yeah, he's in the show. I forgot. But I love how with the ending they actually they show like what everyone's up to, and they're like, Warner did not even get honors. He's a fail son.
That's the was it Animal House like ending where it shows what everyone like did. Yeah. Oh,
look at that promotional shot where they put Mooney on top of
put him on the law book. Take the picture.
So cute.
Yeah.
Put him on the law books.
Have the dog looking at the law book.
As if to say, pay attention to me, not the law.
Exactly. This dog. Where were we? Yeah. I think it's the kind of movie that gets you can get a tag like that at the end, and like it feels like oh yeah, because again, it doesn't spend a lot of time, ironically, deliberating about the characters, and you just get. It works. And then it's and at the time the idea was like, well, who knows if that ever get to pick the story back up again, but it was obviously so huge they made other ones and moved on. But there was a different ending where it originally ended at the courthouse scene. Are you familiar with this?
No.
Yeah, so basically, let's see. Let me so it flash forwards to Elle's 2004 graduation from law school. She gives a commencement speech in front of her classmates, including rival turned friend Vivian, ex-boyfriend Warner, and Professor Stromwell. However, this wasn't always the ending the screenwriters had in mind. In an interview, Karen McCullough, who co-wrote the screenplay with Kirsten Smith, revealed the original ending went in a different direction. Originally, Legally Blonde ended at the courthouse scene after Elle won her case defending Brooke, who was accused of murdering her husband. Everyone congratulated Elle, and Emmett came up and gave her a big kiss. Then there was a tag that took place 1 year later where when Elle and Vivian, who is now blonde, were handing out pamphlets for the Blonde Legal Defense Fund in the Harvard Quad. Test audiences
Blonde Panthers.
Yeah.
Exactly. Test audiences disliked this ending, saying it wasn't exciting enough career-wise for Elle. And McCullough and Smith worked together with director Robert Luketic and producer Mark Platt to come up with the graduation speech instead.
Much better.
There's also there's a version of it where she gives in to her affair with her law professor, and that's how she moves up in the world.
That is just a bad idea.
Yeah.
that does not.
In the era of Me Too, that would have made this movie age very poorly.
Yeah.
That would have. I would argue that would taint the whole thing, and maybe it would not have been.
Yeah, because she gets by on her own.
Yeah, because the idea is it's like not just like it's based on her own merit, but that she's showing she actually has depth as opposed to the tropes of what people think about her, and that just kind of, I don't know, kind of makes that all like ashes in your mouth or something, Yeah.
Well, that version of it was also going to be edgier, and it was going to be more like they were going to show a lot more like they're going to add some sex to it or whatever, and like.
Reese Witherspoon and Garber.
The moral of the story: just give in if someone sexually harasses you.
Yeah, just accept it.
What a great message to send.
If you see somebody sexually harass you, and you can get something out of it, just give in.
Yeah, just do it. That's everyone. Any sane person.
You never guess how Nike came up with that slogan. Anyway,
it's Miramax's Legally Blonde.
Ooh.
with Gwyneth Paltrow winning the Oscar because whatever.
Well, it's Gwyneth Paltrow and it's Matt Damon as the Luke Wilson character.
Were there any options for? You said there was options for the Luke Wilson character, right?
No, I don't.
There
let me
was
see.
the all
Owen
castings.
Wilson.
Right, sure. I mean, I think it was the only one I knew was
Paul
Charlize
Bettany.
Theron.
Oh,
Really? Paul Bettany?
Yeah.
Vision.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I mean,
They-
he was in A
they
Beautiful
wanted-
Mind, where they were in a college, but still.
Damn, he's married to Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, they met
Wow,
on The Beautiful
for real?
Mind.
We should kill him.
Wow. We should keep
Whoa! She still looks good, though. I'm not gonna lie.
you're darn tootin'. Yeah.
That's why.
I swear to God, if Vision Quest doesn't end with Wanda, Vision, and the boys and their new bodies reunited, then what was the point of the 3 shows, Conan? Anyway,
just to do some spoofs. I don't know. Like,
I don't know.
oh, actually,
Paul Bettany
to bring us Agatha. There you go.
You know what Paul
and
Bettany's
Rio.
father? You know what his father's name is?
I don't.
Jane William Howard Hardcastle Christopher Bettany.
Wow. I feel like you just said a bunch of English names at me.
And then his name
It's
is
all the
just
same
Paul.
guy. That's not like 3 dudes.
Yeah, he's a
That's like
famed,
4 dudes worth of names.
Yeah,
God, imagine that movie.
he's like a famed like English actor. Jane William Howard Hardcastle Christopher Bettany, please.
Hardcastle? Like, what the
He has to have his entire name read out every time he appears. Too.
he's like I got a hard castle for you. He's like,
Yeah, this package is a hard castle, and it's just for you.
Oh, that package it's just such a hard package.
I think we could have left it at that's 3 or 4 dudes worth of names, and that would be
I know.
enough of busting that guy's balls. But who's probably dead, by the way.
So
He is
Paul
dead.
Bettany was the only other option besides Luke Wilson?
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
he decided
That's weird.
They didn't want it to be a they didn't want it to be a British guy. They wanted him to be American. They said that's why
that makes sense. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Is he British or American? Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, someone also said someone also was talking about casting Ryan Philippe, who was married to Reese Witherspoon at the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That bastard. And he was everywhere at this time. Ryan Philippe was
Yeah.
who's now like been redacted to a black site for good reason. But I mean,
but
he-
his
he's-
their daughter is very beautiful though. She looks like a
sure,
good,
he's a good looking
mix of-
dude. It's just as an actor.
but he's just
Oof.
yeah.
But he was like, oh god, late '90s, early 2000s. Forget about
He was
it,
everywhere.
that
He was
guy.
like Freddie
Way of the
Prinze Jr., but Freddie
Gun.
Prinze Jr. can act.
Igby Goes Down, the terrible Oscar
Cruel
winning
Intentions.
Again, Cruel Intentions. I Know What You Did Last Summer, right?
Yeah.
Luketic explained when the studio first greenlit the project, they were not aware that the film would be structured as a progressively feel-good women's empowerment movie. Initially, they thought it was going to be much more wet t-shirts and boobs, and it actually turned out to be, said Luketic.
Wow. Did they just
Take
make
that.
it that's almost the opposite of what this is.
I doubt
okay.
Reese Witherspoon would have agreed to any of that.
Yeah.
Well, they also they hired Robert Luketic, and the thing that he had directed at that point, right? His first directorial project was a 12-minute movie called Tiziana Bubarini.
Wait, a short film about me? What? I can't believe this.
But it was like everyone was like, it's like an Italian checkout. It's a musical. It's a musical comedy about an Italian checkout girl at a suburban supermarket who's ridiculed by her fellow employees for her slightly hirsute upper lip. But she gains confidence and acceptance when she discovers a hair removal treatment.
All right. Well,
Okay.
rush out to go see that one.
Tiziana Bubarini.
Okay, Letterboxd is a social media site for film lovers to talk out with and to each other about the films they love, maybe the films that they didn't love, maybe the films that they were just busy picking Osgood Perkins out of the lineup to be like, that's the guy that directed the movie I saw last year. And of course, all of this is it's bottom-up democracy. Everyone gets to have their say, not just the Seskels and Eberts of the world. Everyone gets to chime and opine about the movies, and this is best done for the purpose of this bit somewhat succinctly. You know, you keep it tight, you keep it tight, and that's every year every year, every week, feels like years sometimes. Every week I collect the reviews together to be presented on screen on the show for the panel to react to. These are the Letterboxd one-liners for Legally Blonde. Let's hit it. Elle Woods was at Harvard at the same time as Mark Zuckerberg.
Elle Woods would absolutely crush it on Facebook, though.
Elle would have grabbed her laptop and smashed it on. Never mind. I'm
Can we shout out the hashtag flatmate bonding?
Oh. Flatmate bonding.
The pure, unadulterated joy that comes with reading. Warner graduated without honors, without a girlfriend, and without any job offers.
More movies need to end like that.
Warner, you ain't got no girls. You ain't got no job. You ain't got.
You ain't no bitches.
You ain't even got. His dad will probably call him some honors for him.
Right, exactly. Get some stolen valor honors. Yeah.
Please, my son Warner deserves all the honors. Please, sir. Man, he gets
sir.
That's how they sound in Connecticut?
Yeah.
The director yelled take. The director yelled "Take 5," and Reese Witherspoon heard "Change lives."
Yeah.
I mean the Bush family's from Connecticut, so maybe that is how they sound.
Sure. Hashtag girl boss behavior, by the way, on here.
Heck yeah.
Why would she go to law school for that guy?
Thank you.
Yeah, well.
Like, seriously.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be a movie, is my answer. But
yeah.
Well,
she gives into sadness. The end.
It's just a short film.
She cuts her hair, dyes it, gets a bunch of tattoos and piercings, becomes legally goth.
It's a short film about a kind of funny, awkward dinner, and then she just lives her life. Yeah.
There's a version where she doesn't go to law school for that guy, and she just gets bangs, and it just
yeah. I think there was get the baby bangs, cut her own bangs, and it's not gonna be good.
Elle's bangs.
Exactly. This Barbie is a lawyer.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a prototype for both, the Barbie character, but also like just Glinda. Like I could just see her being like the Glinda of her day.
Proto Glinda.
Yeah.
Here comes Elle in that gay ass bubble.
I'm so glad that one had legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's still running.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a game recognized game. Wow, did you know that this beat A Beautiful Mind for Best Picture?
Speaking of Jennifer Connelly and Paul Bettany.
Exactly.
Wow, A Beautiful Mind, Best Picture nominee, Legally Blonde.
If you're a psychology major, you definitely watched A Beautiful Mind in your class.
What about an average mind? We never get a good movie about that.
Yeah, when are we getting a movie about that, huh?
Yeah.
It's always someone that's like really stupid or they have a beautiful
also
mind.
the guy that's based off of Beautiful Mind died in a car crash on the Jersey Turnpike with his wife, so they went out together.
Well, people don't know is that movie's not based on Russell Crowe's character. It's based on why everyone's in love with Jennifer Connelly. It's because she's a beautiful mind. Thank you. Are we sure her dog was allowed in all those places?
Don't leave Bruiser alone.
Snitches get stitches, man.
He's getting kicked out of class because they're like, "Do you think her dog should be allowed in the classroom, or should we kick her out again this time?"
This dog can't practice law in this state. There's nothing in the rule book that says he can't. Air Bud. Attorney at law.
It's
cheater.
Legally pause or whatever. They're like, it's like,
yeah, that's good. All right, yeah.
Like
in Air Bud's story, they'd have to put Air Bud in there somewhere. So.
You can't practice law. You're a dog. Okay, all right.
He's right.
He came back there.
He drives a strong argument.
I completely forgot about the bit in Forgetting Sarah Marshall where she's like her show on TV or whatever. It's her and Jason Bateman, and she's animal psychic, and they're like,
"That's right, yeah." That's so good, so good. Elwood's Harvard Law admission video, 2001, is truly one of Sofia Coppola's greatest works.
Yeah, see, what did I say? What did I say?
It's like before the Virgin Suicides, there was.
Yes, it's her earlier.
Elwood's Harvard Law admission video.
Lesser known, yeah. Oh, to be smart and pretty at the same time.
Oh, it's exhausting.
Oh, to be smart and pretty at the same time. I'd do anything to have a big brain with these big boobs.
Better than The Godfather. Deserves way more than one leg. That's great.
I'm gonna find that person and I'm gonna deliver a fish to there. Be like, your letterbox account sleeps with the fishes.
Exactly. Those are the Letterboxd one-liners for Legally Blonde. Please follow the show at Movie Night Extra. We're posting stories about all the movies that we cover sometimes, and all the attendant content that goes with it, short form stuff, all that good biz at Movie Night Extra. Blonde Lives Matter, always Flacco over there. Is logging all the stuff from the show and so much more over on Letterboxd. So please give Forrest a follow, your host there. What? Like it's hard? At Conan Neutron. Phrasing. You can find me doing the highbrow, the midbrow, the popular sphere. Not lately. All I'm doing is watching movies for this show, but we got like a 22-hour flight coming up fairly soon, so I'll be catching up on things on there. So follow me at Conan Neutron to
what snakes on a plane.
Criterion shouts on a plane. Has everyone ever done that before, bro?
Whoa!
Whoa! I like how they fundraise.
Or Airplane the movie. Just watch all Airplane movies.
They fundraise for that to add more snakes specifically.
Yeah,
so they need to add more snakes on this plane. Great.
I like the fucking idea of just Airplane movie month.
Well, yeah. Well, you can probably do it. Yeah, you can probably pull it off.
Disaster month.
Plane.
Plane. It's an old bit. At Kristina is Kristina the legally brunette down there, so follow her along for her logging for whenever she deigns to do so, which is more.
I just logged a few movies recently.
Yeah, I was gonna say you've been quite the chair. You're logging more than I have. So
wow, that is.
I know.
I'm gonna slow down.
What a surprising reversal of fortune that is. Yeah, but
no, I've
been busy.
Yes.
Exactly. Amelia Perez may go away, but not that clip.
Dude, imagine legally blonde,
leaving.
but it's Sofia Carla Gascon as Reese Witherspoon role.
It's a remake, but yeah, in Reese Witherspoon's role.
Yeah. Speaking, remake perhaps.
That's right.
It takes place in Mexico. It takes place in Mexico where there is no law.
The only law is the gun. And presumably some other laws. All right, let's hit the plugs.
If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, and then hit the bell to get notified whenever we're streaming. And we'd humbly request that you watch the video to the end, because it helps us with the algorithm and helps more film fans to discover the show. We're also monetized. If you want to get your chat questions definitely read on stream, you can always send us a super chat, which will help us keep the show going. Every cent helps. If you're watching on Twitch, you can gift us a free sub on Amazon Prime with your Prime membership, but getting subs on Twitch is always appreciated, and it helps to follow us on there as well. We also have an audio feed, which is available wherever you download podcasts, if you prefer to listen to podcasts rather than watch the stream. That's updated usually the same day we stream, but watching on YouTube and Twitch is the best way to get the show first, live as it happens. If you want to support us with a monthly donation and get access to all of our after parties forever, which go patron only after we do them, you can become a patron at patreon.com/movie night extra. Link is in the description for that. It really helps us keep the show going since we do have some expenses to make this happen. We also have a Discord community. Link is in the description for that. We sometimes watch movies we cover on there. We get into conversations about everything from film to TV shows to related podcasts. We even have a Discord channel for memes. It's really fun on there. You can find us on all the social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, Twitter, and Threads. You connect with us on all of those. Talk to us. We'd love to hear from you. Lastly, we recently made a TikTok at Movie Night Extra where we're putting up short form clips from the episodes. Okay, passing this to Conan so he can tell you about his music and this week's Protonic Reversal. Conan, who's on Protonic this week?
That's right. Last Protonic Reversal for a bit of a hiatus because we're going to be on tour coming next week. Brian Giles of Red Fang, who this is going to be the longest gap between having people on because he was on for episode 7, like when I very first started the show. So Brian Giles of the band Red Fang, they're great. They have a new sort of B-sides collection out that's awesome. Tune in for that, and then no Protonics for about a month, basically. But $1 a month, patreon.com/Protonic Reversal for advance access. Still up. Lots of good stuff coming after I get back. So like, subscribe, all that good stuff on the Protonic Reversal page. Of course, everything right now is Conan Neutron, The Secret Friends, my band. Way of the Neutron. Available on Bandcamp now. The Villainous Circumstance, the 3rd single, premiered today on Bandcamp. And so that's available to listen to. And if you want to pre-order LP, you want to pre-order CD, digital, you can do that now. The digital is going to be coming out later this week. So the whole record's going to be able to listen to on Bandcamp. There's a week or two delay before it goes to other aggregators like Spotify and Apple Music and all that. That is definitely intentional. So if you can, go to Bandcamp, go get it. And that is the Way of the Neutron. And it looks like this. So I can't stress enough that if you're into the band at all, pre-ordering the record is a great idea. Early money is like yeast; it rises. So if you want to see us, we've got I've got another tour announcement this time in the U.S. that'll happen Thursday when the record is out into the world. And obviously it'll be our Anatomy of a Fall episode with Kev that'll announce it on here. But there you go.
Weird.
Caterwaul 2025. Oh, go ahead. Yep.
I was going to say early money is like yeast, it rises. Late money is like a yeast infection.
There you go. Yeah. Sorry. And then I'm going to Japan. So if you know someone in Japan that likes rock music, let them know we're coming. It's going to look like this robot coming at you. And that is less than
noise rock people hate to see a Conan Neutron coming.
It's less than 2 weeks away, which blows my mind, and there's still so much to do. But I'm couldn't be more excited. I'll take lots of pictures. Send me your favorite Kurosawa filming locations that will be nowhere near, and I'll do my best. Caterwaul, like I said, May 23rd, May 24th, 25th, 26th, Minneapolis, Minnesota, 40 different bands. Should be a great time. Advanced tickets available now. Forrest will be there, as will I, as I'm always there. But don't bother us; we'll be busy.
Don't bother us.
Buy a ticket, but don't bother us. Hey. So follow along for that. I have there's like 3 different podcasts and various things that are coming out this week to coincide with the record being released to the world on Thursday. But it's been a long time coming. I've been working on this damn thing for a long time.
Yeah.
This is the longest gestation period for any record I've ever done.
Yeah, you've been working on it forever.
But the results speak for themselves. It's my favorite record I've ever done, and I truly hope that folks take time to check it out. And if you are a person of means, even if you don't like listen to downloads, buy a digital copy.
For a second you were going to say if you're a person of color. I was like,
sure, that too. Yeah, that also works. But we have a bunch of merch items coming up. We have a tour shirt, a Japan tour short that is going to be. We'll see how many of those we go through. If we have any of those left over, we'll probably sell them at the end of it. But there's some other good merch items coming up in late April. But we're going to be playing the shows with Mr. Flies first, and Wild Antics in Milwaukee, then out to Japan, and then there's going to be a bunch more stuff that's announced on Thursday. So if you're like, I don't live in those places and therefore don't care and have already tuned out, then you can tune back in if you feel so inclined when we announce those tour dates. But we're hitting a lot of places in May and June.
By the way, I got one to swap out. Jennifer Coolidge in this movie, and then Marlon Brando in The Godfather.
All right. Yeah. I'd be good with it. That's awesome.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
I would absolutely. Yeah, I'd watch that remake or whatever.
But Kristina, you have a debate tonight.
Yes, I do.
That's why we're early, and that's why I'm all cattywampus, as they say, because we're like an hour early.
Yeah. So yeah, I got a debate on Enemy Charlie stream on Twitch. It's gonna be me, some other progressives and leftists, and God knows how many conservatives, and we're gonna be process of elimination. I mean, my first ever debate was the test last time, and I was the last person to be eliminated, so that's fucking crazy. So let's see how far I make it this time around. That's why I'm wearing a nice low cut shirt.
Why don't you wear yourself a nice low cut shirt, kid?
I like this new thing where it's like, because like I feel like in the past it's always like, oh, let's have these two figures debate each other, and now they're just like, okay, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have just a bunch of people and see what happens.
Yeah,
that's it. So what is this? People are asking about this.
Who will you debate? I'm going to be debating a bunch of streamers like Admiral Gibbs. There's like all these people that I don't even know well enough because again, I'm not in the Twitch debate sphere. Thank God.
Oh my God. That sounds like a level of Dante's Inferno to me. But okay.
Yeah, if my girl Emmy Charlie's doing a debate, I'm on it because she actually has rules and regulations and stuff like that. So that's good.
Well, we sent you to 30 years to the the Twitch debate circle.
I feel like I'll be in 30 years by the time this is over with.
Like they're doing the old Dante's Inferno, like their own layer of hell, and they're just like, and there's extra rules and extra regulations, and it's like, ah!
But yeah, I'm gonna be streaming. I'm working on getting a Rio Vidal death cosplay. Well, two of them at least. Next month, I'll put a payment down for her final death costume, and I ordered one that's coming in April, where she first comes out of Mrs. Hart's grave. So that should be fun. And also, of course, Shadow Saturday. Eve has finally been made, and she wants to kill Adam because she's a resurrected evil woman. So that's fun.
I've been made.
Yeah. It's and Barnabas finds out Angelique is still alive and she's a vampire. Once again, people are like, I come to your stream to lurk. You know, I have it on the background while I'm doing work, and then 5 hours later, I'm actually watching this old soap opera from the 60s, and I'm like, yeah.
That's right.
That's how it works. That's how it always works with soap operas. You're just casually looking, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, this woman's got DID? What?
This woman's got DI?
With
her... Yeah, be like, wow, my favorite character just died, and they're like,
wow.
Oh no, they have a cousin, and the cousin's now back in this place.
Yeah, they're exactly the same.
This woman's in a debate on Twitch. What?
Yeah, me.
I must have fell asleep.
They're like about to get eliminated. It's like, and it like zooms out, like the end of a soap opera thing is like to be continued.
Yeah, the role of so is being played by.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
The role of Kristina is being played by Jennifer Connelly
and Jennifer Coolidge at the same time. And a surprising turn of events. They tag in and out.
Jennifer Coolidge playing Kristina.
Yeah.
I'm gonna win this Twitch debate.
and every time the camera shifts away from you, it shifts to the other actress, and like they just take turns playing you. That's good. It's a good bit.
You're like you're about to win the debate, and they're like, I was your father this whole time or something, and you're like, oh, and it's like to be continued.
Yeah.
I don't think you can win a debate that way, but all right, I guess.
Apparently, the prize is like money or like a nice like $100 like gift card.
Apparently, the prize is money. What a sentence.
So
that's why you would subject yourself to what I can only assume is cruel and necessary punishment. Okay, all right. Who's this for? Like, who do people watch this?
Yeah, people do watch it. I mean, a lot of the people that I'm debating have way bigger audiences than me. I mean, Enemy Charlie, she gets like 500 plus people, and plus there's some people who collab the streams on it because it's being done through Discord. But like, there's like shared streaming where you can expose even more of a larger audience. But I like, having my chat like I don't stream on my because Discord is very weird when I'm trying to stream it on Twitch. So I just hang out her Discord and just be on her stream. But it's fun because my Twitch chat is always like, we'll be in your chat though, just talking about the debate because there's way too many people like scrolling through. And the fact that people thought that I was good enough to not get voted out the first time is crazy. I am a smart. Not really.
I am a smart. Yeah, you can see it. I can see her playing.
Sure.
Yeah.
But Kristina.
The gays are trying to kill me. That's how you should end your debate.
Final thoughts.
Yes. So this is a film that I've loved since childhood. I had a lot of the Elle Woods merchandise, the Barbies, the Bruisers, and
Elle Woods selling hoodies and T-shirts now.
Yeah. It's a good female like empowerment type of film. I'm glad the way that how they figured out what to do with this film, because hearing all the other plot ideas, not good at all. This is a cult classic, obviously. It's so big that it spun franchises, prequel series that's coming out, a musical adaptation that fucks as well. I think Reese Witherspoon, she's a pop culture icon because of Elle Woods. And I think, I can definitely see women be inspired by this movie to go into law. Was I one of those women, though? No.
But you're going to be on a Twitch debate stream. That's almost the same thing.
Yes. Your Honor, I declare what they said was stupid.
I can see women being inspired, and I was that woman.
That was not that woman.
Conan, let's hear those final thoughts.
It was a short movie. That was great.
I mean,
review.
Look, it was a short movie, and it was great. I think Reese's performance is very funny and very nuanced, and again, especially given the context of where the monoculture was at that time, especially with quote unquote blondes. I think it actually was socially important, not just for the giving inspiration for young ladies, maybe to try something along those lines, but just as representation. Like, I think it's actually a little more subversive than maybe it's given credit for. It seems like a disposable fish out of water movie, but no, it isn't. And there's a lot of great lines too. I mean, don't stomp your little last season Prada shoes at me, honey. Amazing.
Yeah.
Great. It's a great line.
He's gay. He's gay.
It's very well written, and I think that it was a huge hit for a reason. And I again can't argue with that runtime. Boy, if they try to do it now, probably 3.5 hours. But
yeah. 3 hours. I think 3 hours of like Elle going around in a car, looking out into space, and like, what should I do? What should I do? Should I stay at Harvard after I got
right? Just
harassed?
Ruminations and grinding on it. Yeah, absolutely. But it's good and interesting that at the time this was what Reese Witherspoon was doing to get away from what people knew her for, and it's interesting what a sea change that was for her. And I think she's a great actress. I think she's super interesting, and they're making a Legally Blonde 3 that's coming out next year too. That's the one thing that, yeah, we'll see about that. But
Too blonde, too furious.
Yeah,
it's Legally Blonde, but the E's are 3s.
I like what Kristina said earlier about illegally blonde. It's like that's like the Trump 2.0 version of Legally Blonde. It's like
she gets deported.
Yeah, being a brunette.
They're like trying to figure out. They deported her to Sweden.
Swedish.
That's pretty funny. There we go. Legally Blonde, exactly. Like M3 again, exactly.
I like how in my head I go legally blonde.
Legally blonde.
Leg ally. I'm an ally to legs.
I'm an ally. I'm the friend of all legs.
I'm the friend of all legs. But we're gonna be back next week. Not same time because we were an hour early today, but next week for Anatomy of a Fall.
With Kev from Austin Danger podcast closing out Justice Night Extravaganza. Case closed.
I was saying it like the penultimate episode of Justice Night, and I accidentally said the penultimate episode of Movie Night Extravaganza earlier.
Oh man, yeah, that's a wildly different thing.
Oh, fuck.
That had to be a pretty bad episode if that was the case.
Yeah. Oh, there's movie. I'm out of here. But Kristina, good luck on your debate.
Hope you
I
get everything you wanted out of it.
I don't think I'm capable of watching, but I'll be, thoughts and prayers.
I would pay to not watch it. No offense.
I mean, I don't have any money right now, so
yeah.
I think it makes sense for you. It does not make sense for.
I would be in your corner. Pretend I'm in your corner with earplugs in my head so I can't hear what anyone's saying.
You know what? Just you know what you should do? Just have have Charlie stream up, wear cover, wear something over your eyes, put the earplugs in, and you'll be good to go.
I'll be like that Bird Box meme where Sandra Bullock has like the blindfold on. Go to Neutron watching the debate.
That movie.
Kristina's doing awesome.
that movie hit pretty hard at the beginning of COVID.
Oh yeah, it really did. God,
yeah.
Man, we watched a video from React where it's like, do you remember 2019? I'm like. And they're like, it was 6 years ago. And I'm like, how long ago?
Gas was $1.80, and everyone was all about Bird Box.
Yep. And Tiger King, and cleaning out their closets and baking bread.
Cleaning out my closet. Yeah, Tiger King's something that we only could have ever gotten into, I think, culturally.
Yeah, everyone knows what that is. Isn't that crazy? It's like we have we had a monoculture again for like a very brief moment in time.
I do really like 3 weeks after Trump took office again, Joe Exotic, that guy, like his Instagram account. No, you posted a thing of it, and it's like an anime boy looking really sad. And it says, "President Trump, you forgot me."
Yep. What do you think he's gonna be like the Secretary of Labor? Like what is
He's pardoning him?
It was like a sad anime boy. It was like, President Trump, you forgot me.
Amazing. Yeah. Is it even satire anymore? I don't even know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, good luck, Kristina. We're all rooting for you on the old debate night extravaganza.